Hello everyone, welcome to another video discussion, and today we're gonna talk about the future of Dragunov for Season 2. Alright, so I think that most of you already watched the Season 2 trailer that dropped at the end of Tekken World Tour. I'm not gonna make a reaction video of that because I think YouTube is already full of people making reaction videos to that trailer. But the most important aspect of that trailer is that we're gonna get new moves, apparently, for every character. And of course, we're gonna get a big balancing patch that is gonna drop at the beginning of Season 2. Now, of course, we can start to speculate what Dragunov is gonna receive as a new move. Personally, I'm pretty skeptical. I don't think he's gonna receive anything of value. I think that his new move is gonna be like a new sneak transition. I was thinking about back to 1 is gonna be able to transition into sneak or something stupid like that. I don't think they're gonna give him anything of value, to be honest. They are already concentrated on trying to balance his the moves that he got. I don't think they're gonna add even more stuff to balance. So I think it's gonna be something pretty irrelevant, to be honest. But as for the balancing patch, I really want to see what they're gonna do with this character. The interesting thing is that in November we received new data on new win-loss ratio data for all characters, and we can actually see that Dragunov is not doing so well in online in terms of win-loss ratio. Dragunov is actually in God ranks, so from Tekken God and above, is actually bottom 10 in terms of win-loss ratio. Is bottom 10. King is even worse. He does even more terribly than Dragunov. Dragunov also does pretty bad in intermediate ranks and advanced ranks. So across the board, he does pretty poorly online. So I'm wondering if this is something that Bandai Namco is gonna keep into account, but I think that they're gonna mostly listen to complaints, and the character is still pretty popular in tournaments, although not as popular as it used to be. I think that the thing is that we see him a lot in high-level tournaments because some really good top players they still stick with him. We know that Kokoma doesn't play Dragunov anymore. He mostly plays Fengwei these days, and I love the fact that for the Group D, Group Dragunov, they added Kokoma that basically doesn't play the character anymore. He almost never uses Dragunov, but he still added them to inflate a little bit the numbers of Group D, Group Dragunov. But yeah, Kokoma doesn't play him anymore. He mostly plays Fengwei. Fengwei is pretty popular in smaller tournaments. Low-High dropped the character for Shaheen, a character that he used a lot in Tekken 7. Olsan is still playing Dragunov, however, he's still playing Dragunov only because he doesn't want to switch characters. He himself said that he doesn't like the idea of changing character again. And he started with Reina, but now he doesn't really want to change character again, so he's trying to stick with Dragunov. And Atif, I don't know, is still playing Dragunov. I don't know if he's doing that because he doesn't want to change character or because, he thinks that he's the best character in the game. We don't know. Or at least I don't know if that's the case. As for Nobi and JDCR, they're gonna play the character no matter what. They stick with the character in Tekken 7 when he was bottom 10. And that's not gonna change anytime soon. I'm definitely not expecting buffs for Season 2. And I'm not asking for buffs at all. But maybe some retuning. I would like to see that. I would like to see some retuning on some of his attacks. I think one of them is definitely Hatchet Kick. I really dislike how Hatchet Kick is at the moment. +3 huge pushback, -31 of block. I mean, where is the reward for hitting this move? And there's no reward, and the risk is so high. Like, it's so high. If they block this, you die. So I would really love to see, a rework of Hatchet Kick. I was never a big fan of the way they balanced this move. The way they balanced this move originally was they decided, okay, let's give this move crazy properties, but let's make it launch punishable. And I never liked that, because I don't think that is what Dragunov needed. Dragunov needed a solid, safe power low to force the opponent to duck a little bit. He didn't need something crazy, like, you know, he didn't need something that hits grounded as a counter hit property. It flips the opponent on the ground. He never needed that. And so what I would do with Hatchet Kick, you know, if I could decide, I would get rid of all the fluff that this move has. I would remove the counter hit property because he doesn't need it. We don't need the counter hit property. I would get rid of the ground hitting property. That's another thing that we don't need. Make it operate like Brian, where you don't hit people on the ground unless they're rolling or they're moving, they're twitching. And even when you hit someone on the ground, because he's moving, he's twitching, don't give this crazy flip where the opponent recovers, stomach towards the ground, head towards Dragunov. Make them recover, like for example after a stomp, like this, just far away from you, in a very safe position where they can recover safely. So remove the ground hitting property, change the behavior of the opponent when he gets hit, if he's rolling on the ground. Remove the counter hit property, make the move a bit slower. 20 frames is a bit too fast, make it 21, 22 frames. And then you increase the frame advantage a little bit, 1 or 2 frames. You remove the pushback, so that I can actually pressure after hitting this move, and make it -13, -14, but don't make it straight up launch punishable. This is how I would, you know, this is how I would retune this move. And of course, another thing, or the reason why I also want to make this, I want this move to be a bit slower, it's because of the fact that in this way you can step Hatchet Kick into Hatchet Kick. Because if the move is too fast, you don't have enough frames to step. But if you make the moves slower, even if you increase the plus frames, you are still allowed to step. Which is something that when the move was +7, it wasn't possible. So this is the reason why this is also the reason why I would love for this move to have a higher startup. It's not gonna change much, but it's gonna allow people to step Hatchet Kick into Hatchet Kick, so we can increase the frame advantage a little bit without, you know, making the move impossible to step, you know, like this. You just do this, do this. You can. If the opponent knows that you're gonna go with another Hatchet Kick, he can simply sidestep. Maybe reduce the tracking a bit, if that is not enough. Reduce the tracking a little bit towards the right, so that this is possible. And I think it would be fine in this way. You remove all the extra fluff, the ground hitting property, and the counter hit. You make it a bit slower, and but you make it functional, so I can actually use this move instead of throws. Because right now, I have no goddamn reason to use Hatchet Kick instead of throws. That's the point. I have no reason whatsoever. If my opponent can't break throws, I have no reason to use Hatchet Kick. I have no reason. I just go with throws, because if they duck a throw, they're gonna launch me. But if they block Hatchet Kick, they're gonna launch me anyway. So I have no reason to go with Hatchet Kick. I have absolutely no reason. I'm just gonna throw all day long. This is what I don't like about Hatchet Kick. It's just, there's no point. If you can avoid to use it, you're not gonna use it. You only use it when you're forced, when you have no other choice. Only when you get to a point where they just break all of your throws on reaction, then okay, I have no other choice, I have to use it. It's a last resort, but it's not a move that you want to use if you can avoid to use it. And people are doing this in top level. They just do full crash down for 1/4. Because if you get the blue spark, it does almost the same damage. So I don't think it should look like this. I think Hatchet Kick should be named low. But right now it's not. So I would change Hatchet Kick, like I said. I would would do all those changes. Maybe, you know, as even more compensation, we could get rid of the blue spark on full crouch down for 1/4, so that it always deals 18 damage and it never deals 22, so that it's clear that this is his main low. This is his main power low and not this one. Remove the blue spark. It can only get 80 at best. That would also be good. Just to make Hatchet Kick a more prominent low than full crouch down for 1/4. Which should be just a way to cycle. Instead of doing down 2 into down 2 into down 2, like in old Tekken 7, you do this into this, and now you're in a different situation now. Just so that you do not have to do this every time. This was very boring in Tekken 7. Having to do this all day long was very boring. Now I got this. Because this is the reason why this move is here. It's so that you don't have to cycle down 2 all day long like this. Down 2, down 2. This was boring. So you have this. So you remove the blue spark and you make Hatchet Kick. Is strongest low the way it should be, in my opinion. I guess they are mostly gonna target CD4. People are still complaining about this move, even though the fact that it doesn't wall splat is a big nerf. It's a huge nerf. People are really... they're acting as if this is not a huge nerf. The fact that it doesn't wall splat anymore. But it is. It is a big nerf. But people are still complaining. I guess you could get rid of the +7. We don't really need. I don't want to lose the ground hitting property. That's for sure. I want the ground hitting property to stay because that's Dragunov's only ground hitting mid. So I don't want to lose that. But yeah, maybe we can lose the plus frames. Who cares at the end of the day? These are fake plus frames. You can't really do anything here. What are you gonna do? You can't really do anything in this situation. The only time where you actually get some plus frames, it's at the wall, but who cares? Like, even if I don't have plus frames and I'm at the wall, who cares? You know, I can sidestep, I can do whatever I want. I mean, plus frames are not really that big of an issue. So I guess they could get rid of that, but not the ground hitting property, because that... I want that to stay, because this is Dragunov's only ground hitting mid. So I want that to stay. And I still hope for running 2 to go back to +6. I really can't. I can't look at running 2 in this state. I really can't look at running 2 at +4. With all of these frame traps here not being frame traps anymore. I really can't stand it. Another change they could do that I would like to see, maybe, is either more pushback on running 2 on counter it. So the character doesn't recover that close to Dragunov. It would look something like Tekken 6 Tag 2 style of counter it, where you get a big pushback and you have to dash into down 2. In this way, you would nerf this combo route here, which does a lot of damage, right? You reduce the damage by preventing Dragunov to go with this combo route here. Quarter circle forward 3+4. You add pushback, so your only available pickup is dash down 2. That would be good. Or dash, if you want to do something crazy like this, dash into while standing 4, like old Tekken 6 and Tag 2. That could also be good, you know. That could also be good. And you increase the plus frames, right? You make the pickup harder or less rewarding. You remove the quarter circle forward 3+4, but you make running 2 more plus. And maybe you can get rid of the tracking towards the right, because sometimes running 2 tags people stepping towards the right. So you could get rid of that. You know, you could make the move more linear, make it more plus, like it should be, and maybe reduce the damage on counter it by removing this combo route here. You remove that. You make so that you have to do this pickup here. But to be honest, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So thank you so much for watching and take care.